we go.
My name is Jason Newkirk. I'll be doing a speech on why HR managers should be able to use lie detector tests on the people they're going to hire and the employees. Now, this is a quote that came from Fortune magazine. A person claimed to be a construction supervisor when the only work they did was construct a doghouse. And that they were applying for a construction supervisor, and that's what they put down. From these experiences, we have heard situations very similar. I know in our situation, the way we do stuff and the way we do things, we go through the interview process once in a while, so we do tend to hear some interesting stories. Now, looking good for an interview doesn't require someone to lie. Due to the current high demand of the job market and specific skills needed for particular jobs, HR should have the capabilities to do or give a polygraph to people that are interviewing for the job or potential employees. Surveys tell us that 4 out of 5 people have embellished about what they have done during an interview, and as a person who has hired multiple people through the years, I find that sorting through lies can be a challenge during the interview process. And again, many of you guys have been involved in the interview process, and we do run into our challenges in that aspect. Studies tell us that 80% of the people who choose to lie stand out, and this isn't worth the risk. They lie to stand out, and this isn't a risk for the employer. So why should HR be allowed to give a polygraph during an interview? The need for hiring the right person is very important, and having specific job functions and doing the investment in the position is very important. According to the Society for Human Resource Management, the process for hiring a new employee comes at a financial and a time-related impact to the employer. At a cost level for just one position, you can spend upwards of $4,000. And for a time level, it can take up to 42 days from bringing someone in from the beginning to the end. Another issue is people will often lie about certain qualifications that are important to a job. Like say they don't wind turbine work and they never had the capabilities, and then they never did the work, and then we bring them in and they're not able to do it. Critical job functions that might play into a lot of things, like maybe doing something for NERC or a couple other things that they say they did on their interview but they didn't do in real life. According to the Polygraph Protection Act, polygraphs are forbidden, but this should really be an employer-based thing versus a government thing. Keep in mind, this act was passed by the government to protect people in the job hiring process. Anything government regulated can run at difficulties for employers, and this tends to be an issue as well. And it basically gives the employer no protection at all whatsoever about the person being hired. Now, the satisfaction of having a polygraph will allow an employer to pick the best candidate with the appropriate skill set. We save the company a lot of different ways. Resources. We need less time to rely on other things to get a person hired. The time and money. Think about the time and money that can go back into the business and then bring the shares up and make our shareholders happy. That's another thing that's very important. Another satisfaction of doing the polygraph is you get the true skill set. You understand that people are giving you the honest skill set that they have, and they're capable of doing the job we're looking for. And then we'll get basically the right person with little effort or time and bringing them online. Again, according to the Employee Polygraph Protection Act, the Polygraph Protection Act has exemptions. So we like to think that the polygraph is basically no one can give polygraphs, but there are exemptions. FBI, CIA, maybe certain security jobs, they want you to go through a polygraph process to be hired, and it's very critical to them, just like any employee should be critical to any employer. The polygraph should be an employee-based policy. Companies should have the right to implement their own process on hiring employees versus the government implementing these programs. Now imagine the money a company could save by giving a polygraph. So what you got to do now is picture yourself as a hiring manager and trying to find the best fit for the company, and the polygraph to help you find the best teammate, which is important to our company and what we always drive for on a regular basis. I know most of you guys have been a part of the hiring process or an interview process, and you guys got to understand basically what goes into it. Now, if we have control through the polygraph process, we can get the best employee, we can get top talent right away, and this will grow the company in a lot of different directions. Through the polygraph screening, you'll get much more honest people telling you the right thing versus telling you the wrong thing. And then you'll get a higher quality of people, which would be very important, especially the level of work we do. The polygraph process usually is a win-win situation for the employee and for the employer due to the time, money, and stuff you save, getting the right person the first time versus the wrong person into a position and finding out much later. And it's a benefit for the employee as they can just come in and start working on the job right away versus going through all this other mayhem and stuff trying to figure out if they are the person who they say they are. Oftentimes polygraphs can be intimidating and cause people to be nervous, but if you're telling the truth, you should have nothing to worry about. We need a call to action to allow companies to perform polygraphs during an interview. Get in contact with your representative at house.com to push the bill about polygraphs and let's make it policy driven versus government. A person writes down they have 25 years of management experience when they are only 30 years old. Is this right? We all know it's right. We hold people accountable when they lie in court, and we should hold people to the same standard whenever they apply for a job. Thank you, and that ends my speech.